Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to see how we can access the Bubbles database using an API call along with adding their constraints. So what we are basically going to use is the data API that is provided by Bubble. In order to set that up, the first thing that we need to do is go over to settings and then to API and then enable the data API. Once this is enabled, you'll get a privacy warning, but we can continue for now. Uh, the reason we have to enable this is so that we can access this endpoint, otherwise Bubble will not allow it to. As soon as I check this, I will get all the tables that are there in my application, that's task, employees and user. In this tutorial, I'm going to use the employees table in order to get the data. So this also gives me with the endpoint URL that exists. Let me copy this, go to plugins, add another API. Let's call it Bubble and the table of employees and paste. Now, the next thing I have to do is I have to generate a new API token. This is for security purposes. Let me give any name to this API token and the private key. As soon as I click on this, this is going to be copied. I'll go back to plugins. I am going to add a header, authorization. I'm going to write bearer. Then I'm going to paste this key. Now, what basically I have to access is the employees table. In order to do that, I am going to write a slash and then the name of that table. So employees, that is it. I'm going to press on initialize call, and this will give me all the employees that are there in my database. It says here that it has given me a response of 7 entries. So these are all the entries that are there. Let me verify this from my database. This is employees and these are the 7 entries that I have. Now the next step is to add constraints to it. How can we do that? In order to do that, I'm going to add on a parameter here that says constraints is equals to, and then to make that dynamic, use square brackets, constraints. Now this gives me an option of adding constraints. What is the right formula of adding constraints here? That can be found in the Bubble documentation. There are basically 3 things that we need: a key, a constraint type, a value. A key is the field that we are targeting. A constraint type is either of these values: equals, empty, greater than, less than, in, not in, contains, and value which that value should match. So let me add an array and then open JSON body. I'm going to write key colon. I want to search by name. Name in my database is with a capital N. So that being done, key is name, comma, constraint type is equals. Let me say I want to find out a user whose name is John Porter, for example. So the name should equal to John Porter. Key is name, constraint type equals, comma, and the last thing is value, John Porter. Then I'm going to close the JSON body and then the square brackets. Okay, let me initialize it now. So it has given me one response. That response is just of the user who equals to John Porter. We can add as many constraints as we want since this is an array. It is mentioned in the documentation. These are the types of constraints. We can access our own Bubble database as well as any Bubble database using this data API. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.